and was dripping in there the way it was, my stomach the way it was supposed to. It was just slow. But they said that I didn't have any leaks or anything, so I was good. They took me back upstairs. After that, all hell broke loose. I felt terrible. I was nauseous. The nurse never came in to give me medicine, even though I would pay them. It took, and then the pain medicine. Nothing to drink. The only thing they gave me was ice chips from the night before. They wouldn't give me anything to drink. Even though downstairs they had told me that the leak test was fine. I was just like constantly rinsing my mouth out because since I couldn't drink water, I thought the next best thing was just to go and brush my teeth or gargle and spit it out. And but it just felt terrible. It took her literally probably about 2 hours to come and put an IV in me, a new drip, and give me something. And then that continued to happen through the day. It took her 2 to 3 hours to come see me. So I'm sitting there, you know, in pain or nauseous or whatever, and she never came into the room. And it just got to the point where I was in tears in front of the nurses and telling them, you know, why is it taking you so long to see me? I am in pain. I don't feel good. I'm going to throw up. And throwing up is bad for me. What do you not understand, you know? And then my doctor finally came in. It wasn't even my doctor because my doctor had an emergency surgery, so he sent in one of his nurses, and he came in, said that everything was fine and I could go home. And I told him about the nurses, and you know, he told me that he was going to get some pain medicine ordered for my IV before I left. That lady never came. It's like 2 hours passed, and I'm like calling the lady. I'm like, you know, I can go home. And then she goes, you know, I haven't seen anything. I'm like, I can go home. The doctor's been here, like, you know, it's been like an hour and a half since he left. So I think she went to go check on it and everything was fine. She's like, well, you need to eat before you leave. I'm like, no, I don't need to eat. I said, I told you that I could eat, you know, eat. I'm not going to sit here and wait another 2 hours. I'm ready to go home. I was just ready to get away from them. You didn't let me shower. You didn't let me do any. I just want to go home. I was having like an extreme anxiety attack. I was just ready to go home. I started crying, and then they're all like, all of a sudden when I started crying, it's like all of a sudden they were like super fast. They got me out of the hospital like in 15-20 minutes. Unhooked me from the IV, and then I looked at her and I said, you're unhooking me from the IV. The doctor said you have pain medicine to give me before I leave. And then she's like, oh, well, I think it's a pill, and we don't give pills to people that have, you know, these procedures because of your stomach and blah, blah, blah. Thank God that I actually took my prescription medicine with me to the hospital. She actually had me take my prescription medicine that was made to be for home. I took some of that because she didn't want to bring me anything. I was just so frustrated. And then I got in the car, and the ride home was hell. I was in so much pain. That medicine didn't help me anything. It just made me feel terrible. And the hospital is like an hour away. So that area is just a little foggy. I do know we had to stop for gas, and I got out of the car and I started walking and walking and walking while my mom was pumping just to see if I could get some of this because I knew it was gas pain out. Finally, we made it home, and the rest of that day was it's like foggy. I don't remember. I just remember taking a shower in my own shower and washing my hair and just feeling that hot water hit me. Just felt so good. So I remember that. So yeah, that first night was it's really foggy in my mind. Even the second and the third night, to tell you guys the truth, I was just out of it. I only took that, the pain medicine. I only took it one other time besides the time going home. I took it the second day in the morning, and my pain is not constant. It's very like sporadic. It's like maybe at first it was like every hour or 2 hours, and I would just get these cramps, and they last a couple minutes, but they were so terrible. So I decided that, you know, taking that pain medicine that just made me so drowsy and loopy and just so my mind's so foggy, it wasn't worth it. So I only took that, like I said, the second day in the morning, and I never took it again. The nausea medicine that they prescribed me, it's like, I read the directions, and it was like I was supposed to take it the second day, and you're supposed to let it melt on your tongue. That is the only time that I have thrown up in this week. I mean, this whole process so far. It's the only time I've thrown up. So it just didn't sit well with my stomach. It was like chewing up an aspirin and eating it. It was really gross. And it's funny that the nausea medicine made me nauseous, So I haven't taken that again. Now the third thing that they prescribed me was like an antacid. It's like Prevacid or something like that. It starts with a P. But it's, I guess, for like heartburn or acid reflux, something like that. But they want me to take that for 3 months, is to protect my sleeve. So I've been taking that. It sits well with my stomach. I mean, I take it. I can kind of feel it because it's a pill. It's a gel cap. And I can feel it. And I can kind of feel it when it hits the stomach. But it doesn't come back up. And it doesn't really upset my stomach. I just try to make sure that I keep sipping water for a few minutes until it feels comfortable. So my dad ended up coming to visit me, I think he got here Saturday night. And so he stayed Saturday and Sunday. And Sunday he just wanted to go all over the place. And I'm kind of happy that he got me out and kind of, dressed up a little bit and put a little makeup on and kind of fixed myself out, up, and to just kind of get out and go in the real world and stop feeling so, feeling so pitiful. And I just kept feeling like, I don't know, hopeless, and like this is going to be me for the rest of my life, and just feeling like a lot of self-pity, and I just feeling like low self-esteem, I was feeling sorry for myself. So I fixed myself up, and then he ended up, we went to the beach on Sunday morning. It was a really, really beautiful day to go to the beach. We were only there for about an hour and a half or so, and, I didn't get in the water or anything. He brought his 2 daughters, his 2 little girls, and we ended up just, like, walking up and down the beach, and they were picking up shells, and, I let the water hit my feet, but that was about it. I didn't want to get in there and just, have that affect my incisions. So after that, we left. We ended up eating at Carrabba's, which, you guys, it's like, when everybody says that you don't have a taste for anything, it's pretty much true. Especially those first 5 to 6 days. It's like you just don't feel like eating anything. They have like some kind of vegetable soup there that's like broth based. So I had like a bowl of that, or a cup of that, and maybe 5 or 6 spoonfuls I got down in the process of like over an hour. I kept trying to concentrate on sipping on my water. I didn't eat the vegetables or anything in the soup. It was just basically just the broth. Ended up packing it, and it tasted so good to me, I guess, compared to the Campbell soups and all that stuff. Just almost 3 weeks of it. It's just like, I don't even want to. Once this liquid diet is over with, you guys, I will never want to look at another soup ever again. Ever, ever, ever. So, we left Carrabba's, and then my dad wanted to go into Bass Pro Shop, and it was like, I was so tired at that point that I let him go, and me and my older little brother stayed in the car, and he kind of, I guess, just stayed there to be with me. But I ended up falling asleep probably for at least 15-20 minutes. And that made me like feel really refreshed and everything. After that, we ended up going to the outlets. So we went to the outlets for maybe an hour or two before we came home. So I was very, it's only my 4th day? Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday. Yeah, it's like maybe my 4th day into it, and I was just like running around everywhere. I was still having those like contraction, those cramping in my stomach, but it's like I said, it's not constant. And so finally, I say rewind to the 6th day. From the 6th day, I started watching commercials, and I started craving Like, I went by McDonald's and I was like, oh my god, I would do anything just to eat like the meat and the cheese out of a cheeseburger, or thinking about pizza in it. And I thought it was like, you know, is that weird? Because these people say that they don't have any cravings, and like, I didn't for the first 6 days, but once that 6th day hit, it was just like I just wanted to eat everything, and I knew I couldn't. And it was just, on the 6th day, I didn't even eat soup. I was just so tired of the chicken broth that I was just like, popsicles, you guys, are like, it's like heaven in your mouth, because it just, I don't know, it's cold, it makes your stomach feel good, and I know that everyone's different, but for me, the popsicles worked. I mean, I think on that 6th day, I had like 4 popsicles that whole day. It's like I had one every couple hours, and I just really, really enjoyed the taste of it, and the way it made my stomach it made my stomach feel was great. And also, that morning on my 6th day, I noticed that my sips were getting bigger, and I mean, I wouldn't say it's a regular, you know, swallow of water, but I say it was more than just a sip. And then when I did swallow, you know, more than that, just that sip, I was able to swallow like 3 or 4 at a time. And I was like, you know, this is scary, because before I could take 3 or 4 tiny little sips, and now I'm taking probably like double the tininess, and I'm able to take, you know, 3 or 4 of them. So I freaked out, and I'm like, oh my god, I've stretched out my sleeve. What have I done? I put myself through everything, and I've already ruined it. So I called my doctor, and I spoke with the nurse, and she said, no, that's fine. It's normal. That means that my swelling in my stomach is going down. So just keep drinking the water. And she said, there's no way to stretch out your sleeve with the water. That's fine. The only thing that really stretches out your sleeve, she says, is like if you're drinking the carbonated beverages that you're not supposed to drink anymore, if you're eating and drinking at the same time, or if you're overeating. But just drinking water, she's like, you're not going to stretch your sleeve out like that. So I was relieved, and then I spoke with her about the cravings, if that was normal, and she said it's perfectly normal. You're still going to want to eat, you know, food. There's nothing wrong with it, you know. And one day, eventually, you'll be able to eat, you know, little this, little that. Not all the time, but, you know, occasionally. So it made me feel good talking to her. She made me feel at ease. And then I explained to her that I'm my 6th day out, and I'm still having this pain, and I'm walking a lot. I mean, even on Monday, which was my 5th day, I went with a coworker and I walked a mile. I went to the park and we walked. And that was a mistake, because when I got home, I was exhausted. I felt like I wanted to faint. I knew I pushed myself a little bit too much. So I told myself that, you know, I'll slow it down a little bit. But she said everything was normal. She said that she recommended me get some milk and magnesia. I think Phillips makes it or something. And it's supposed to help you go to the bathroom. She thought, because I hadn't really gone to the bathroom the right way, that if I cleaned my stomach out, that maybe it would help. Well, I took it on this night 6, and then by morning 7, I actually went to the bathroom, and I know this is really yucky to talk about, but it was very, very loose, but it was actually, you know, a bowel movement. So that whole day, no cramping in my stomach. I was like, wow. Then that evening, I had a little cramping, but I can honestly say that it wasn't as intense as it had been, and it felt a lot better. And then on the 6th night, I actually slept on my stomach, because another thing that I was scared of was sleeping on my stomach. I had thought that I had to sleep on my back or my side for a few weeks. She told me there was really nothing I could do to hurt myself. So if I felt like I needed to sleep on my stomach, it was fine. So I ended up sleeping on my stomach, and that was like the 6th night was the first night that I actually got a decent amount of sleep. I got 6 hours of rest in, which made me, in the morning, I felt amazing. It was wonderful. So, you know, I felt just great on the 7th day, and then I knew that day I would be able to eat more. Now, my doctor says that I can have full liquids now. So I've been having, I can have Greek yogurts. And actually, I just tried one today. I don't know if it's going to sit well with my stomach yet. I put a little of almond milk in it, And I just kept stirring and stirring and stirring and stirring and stirring, trying to get it thinner.